Did you get it right? Hypothalamus. I remember this word during my elementary days when we learned from our science and health class. One of the major functions of the hypothalamus is to maintain homeostasis that keeps the body in a stable, constant condition. But do you know what I cannot forget about the hypothalamus lesson? That it's not our heart that makes us feel giddy and lightheaded, or do unusual things when we see our crush or beloved. It's the hypothalamus. That's the reason it's not really, "I love you from the bottom of my heart." The truth is, I love you from the bottom of my hypothalamus. It is always the brain, after all, that is over the heart. Don't fret though, this is not an anatomy class. However, to clearly understand an individual's mental processes and behavior, we have to study the brain. In this episode, we will learn more details about the brain, its parts, processes, and functions that may help you in improving your thoughts, behavior, and feelings. We will also learn some ways to improve our brain functions. Hi class, I'm Teacher Mark, and welcome to your show, where we will learn to become more aware of who we are and better understand ourselves and the people around us. I will guide you in your journey of personal empowerment to become more positive as a person, to be the best version of yourself every day, and to help you raise your confidence, self-motivation, and more. Commit to your vision or plan in achieving your aims and goals in life. Join me as we uncover your limitless potential. Let's rock! This is Personal Development on DepEd TV. The brain is the most complex organ in the human body. It is composed of approximately 86 billion neurons that communicate in trillions of connections called synapses. It is always active and acts as the control center of the body. The brain only weighs about 3 pounds or 1.4 kilograms, which represents a mere 2% of the body's total weight. However, it uses a whopping 20% of our body's energy and is surprisingly fatty. About 60% of the brain is fat. And of course, the brain is the seat of our intelligence. Our creativity, emotions, and memory are just a few of the many things governed by the brain. Lying in its bony shell and covered by protective fluid, the brain is the source of all the qualities that define our humanity. The brain works as a single organ, but it is divided into areas with their own unique expertise and function. The brain has 3 main regions: the forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. Let's begin with the forebrain. The forebrain is in the uppermost region of the brain. It includes the cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus, and the limbic system. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, covered by the cerebral cortex. It regulates senses, memory, emotions, intellectual activities, and body movement, while the cerebral cortex is responsible for processing information is divided into hemispheres by a band of fibers called the corpus callosum. The right cerebral hemisphere controls the left side of the body, while the left cerebral hemisphere controls the right side of the body. Have you ever heard someone say that he tends to be more of a right brain or a left brain thinker? They say that left brain thinkers have strong math and logic skills, while right brain thinkers are told that their talents are more on the creative side. Given the popularity of this idea of right-brained and left-brained thinkers, it might surprise you to learn that this idea is just one of the many myths about the brain. According to a 2013 study from the University of Utah, brain scans demonstrate that activity is similar on both sides of the brain. regardless of one's personality. They studied the brain scans of 1,011 young people between the ages of 7 and 29 and divided different areas of the brain into 7,000 regions to determine whether one side of the brain was more active or connected than the other side. No evidence of sidedness was found. The researchers concluded that the notion of some people being more left-brained or right-brained is more of a figure of speech than an anatomically accurate description. So now that we've cleared that up, let's move on to a more detailed discussion of the cerebral hemisphere. Each cerebral hemisphere contains 4 lobes that share complex relationships: the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is situated at the front part of the brain, which controls memory, emotion, stress response, speech, decision-making, and planning. The parietal lobe is situated near the back of the frontal lobe, which regulates sensory perception. The occipital lobe is situated at the back of the head, which regulates sight. It is responsible for receiving and processing visual information from the retina. The temporal lobe is in the lower lobe of the cortex, sitting close to ear level within the skull. It regulates memory, hearing, and comprehension. It is the home of the limbic system structures, including the amygdala and hippocampus. Let us explore the limbic system, the part of the brain involved in our behavioral and emotional responses, especially when it comes to behaviors we need for survival, feeding, reproduction, and caring for our young, and fight or flight responses. The limbic system is a complex set of structures that lies on both sides of the thalamus, just under the cerebrum. It includes the hypothalamus, the hippocampus, the amygdala, and several other nearby areas. It appears to be primarily responsible for our emotional life and has a lot to do with our memories. Imagine the limbic system as the headquarters of emotions in the control center inside one's mind that advises us in everyday life, like from the movie Inside Out. The thalamus connects areas of the cerebral cortex that sends, receives, and organizes information. It also plays a role in control of sleep and wake cycles. Try to imagine them as 2 traffic enforcers named Tala and Amos. The hypothalamus is located below the thalamus and above the brain stem. It is one of the busiest parts of the brain and is mainly concerned with homeostasis. Homeostasis is the process of returning something to some set point. It also means a healthful, balanced bodily state. Our body is always trying to achieve this balance. For example, the feelings of hunger are the brain's way of letting us know that we need more nutrients to achieve homeostasis. The other way the hypothalamus controls things is via the pituitary gland. It is neurally and chemically connected to the pituitary, which pumps hormones called releasing factors into the bloodstream. As you know, the pituitary is the so-called master gland, and its hormones are vitally important in regulating growth and metabolism. The hippocampus, that looks like a pair of seahorses that curves back from the amygdala, stores your memory, and it's also another part of the brain that is involved in your fear responses. If the hippocampus is damaged, a person cannot build new memories, just like in the movie 50 First Dates. Next, let's move on to the midbrain and hindbrain. The midbrain is located between the forebrain and the hindbrain. It functions mainly as a relay center for sensory and motor nerve impulses between the pons and spinal cord, and the thalamus and cerebral cortex. The hindbrain is situated at the back of the head. It's the brain's well-protected central core, which includes a cerebellum, that receives information from the sensory system and the spinal cord to regulate balance and posture and coordinate movement. Evolutionarily speaking, the hindbrain contains the oldest parts of the brain. Also, the midbrain and hindbrain form the brainstem. The brainstem is located at the lower part of the brain, which leads to the spinal cord. It contains the pons and medulla oblongata. It connects the cerebrum and cerebellum to the spinal cord. It composed of nerve fibers that carry signals to and from all parts of the body. Its functions are for safety and survival as it regulates breathing, consciousness, heart rate, body temperature, blood pressure, digestion, and wake and sleep cycles. This is a partial view of how the brain works for you. Again, the cerebrum and cortex have something to do with your ability to think. The limbic system has something to do with your feelings, while the brainstem has something to do with your behaving safely to survive. These are all important for personal development. What are you thinking right now? Can you look around? What do you see, smell, feel, and hear? Is it good or not? Try to look at your face. Is there any dirt that needs to be cleaned? How did you feel after you saw it? What will you do about it? Then, after you take care of it, tell yourself how it changed your mood. Aha! The brain makes you think, feel, and behave. Its complex interrelationships enable you to think critically, creatively, and carefully in various situations. The experiences you gain from these situations help you to develop specific reactions towards yourself and others, which in turn determine who you are as a person. A person who possesses right and good thoughts processes, feelings, and perception. Understanding the different parts of the brain, processes, and functions can help you improve your thoughts, behaviors, and feelings. In this phase of your life, it would be good for you to explore ways to improve your brain functions for personal development. As you demonstrate your ways to fully develop your brain functions, enhancing and balancing your mental abilities will support your personal development. The brain is responsible for our way of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Still, it is essential to observe and exercise ways to improve your brain functions as a maturing adolescent. Here are some useful tips to improve your brain power that will help you activate your brain functions for personal development. First, it is important to have physical and mental exercise. It is said that exercising can help improve brain health, improve memory, and protect your brain from degeneration. Exercising may include the following: meditation, aerobics, solving problems, or playing mind games. Second, lead a healthy lifestyle. This includes having enough sleep. And for adolescents like you, that means at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep at night. This lifestyle also means that you need to avoid drinking alcohol and smoking. Did you know that smoking can cause a brain disorder called dementia? People who smoke more than 2 packs of cigarettes a day had twice the dementia rate when compared with non-smokers in their latter years. Lastly, it is also about proper food intake. It is important that we feed our brain as well. Include brain-boosting food rich in omega-3, antioxidants, amino acids, and vitamin E in your diet. Eat more vegetables. Limit calorie and saturated fat intake. Drink green tea and wine or grape juice in moderation. Now that you have learned these useful tips that could help you empower your brain, let us have a guided meditation exercise that can help you relax and improve your mental focus. How do you feel now? Personally, I feel calmer and more relaxed after that meditation exercise. I hope that it also had the same effect on you, which is good because we are nearing the end of our episode and it may be time for you to relax even more. But before I let you go, here are some of my tips. Turn off negative thoughts in your mind. Positive thinking, especially in the future tense, speeds up the creation of cells and dramatically reduces stress and anxiety. So, think positive. Stay curious and train your brain to innovate and create fresh ideas. When you experience something new, that actually stimulates your brain. Keep on reading. Imagination is a great way to train your brain. So here's what I would like you to do for your assignment. Take a selfie showing how you can improve your brain functions for your personal development and use the hashtag MyPDJourney and hashtag DepEd TV. Before we end our episode today, let me share this quote. Be the engineer of your brain. Maintain and operate it to be always in its perfect condition. Love your brain. Your mind is powerful. Think positive and positive things will happen. Always be mindful. Be in the present moment. This is Teacher Mark. I see greatness in you. Know your worth, make a habit of developing yourself, and be your best version every day. See you in our next episode on personal development on DepEd TV.